Today I am going to be taking a look at this piece. I've been wanting to take a look at this piece since like December, I think, or since it was posted. But I'll talk about what the issues are with this one, why we're just not, as the audience, not vibing with it. But before I get started, today you're going to see me use Portrait Studio. I set up a lighting scene specifically made and customized for this critique hour today. This piece right here, and around 3 light sources: main light source, spotlight, and point light. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking a look at all of these changes through the lens of lighting, through the lens of composition, and then character design. Portrait Studio is on sale right now, so I'm using it today to show you guys what it is. And it is on sale on my store, so go to istebrak.com, and it is $39.99 instead of the usual price. If you want your work critiqued, all you have to do is just go to istebrak.com and click on the subreddit icon right here to take you to the subreddit where everything that happens in this community, or go to the Discord to join the Discord server and the Discord community. It's a wonderful community, but those 2 links are available on my website. So let's talk about this piece. Why am I not feeling it? Why are we as the users not feeling it? I'm just gonna say it, the stuff that sticks out, and I'm just gonna talk about why it's just a bad choice. Bad choice number 1, turquoisey, pastel, gray, gentle, feminine background color. Yes, this is a feminine background color. In my vocabulary, I feel like this is a very gentle color. It's not blue, it's not green, it's not yellow. It's a wonderful mix of all of them, and you picked the color that you felt was just like the one that matched. You didn't pick a narrative driven color for the background. And so this really godlike warrior champion is against this very French Renaissance pastel. We can call it like an eggshell green or something that in those stores they would just have a really feminine, girly name for, and that's why I say it's a feminine color. So this background color is just, in my opinion, so wrong for what he's doing, which is warping through time and space. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm going to get rid of it while also addressing the complete, utter disrespect to the light environment. There is no light environment at all, almost. And I have modeled in Portrait Studio for a very specific reason. I'm using 3 lights in Portrait Studio, which is a whole lot of lights. You've got the main light source, which again, in Portrait Studio, you can control light real time. There's no baking. It's just right there. It's rendered already. It's done. You just have to take a screenshot and that's it. I'm using the primary light source, the secondary light source behind him to give us that rim light. And again, if you see this light from the side, it's completely eating up the back. And then there's the spotlight on the face with a little bit of blue color to bring in some of that blue. I only changed the color to blue so you can see where that light actually is, and it's just diffusing some of the shadows caused by the primary light source. So I'm just going to take a quick picture. Really, I'm not worried about the pose. I'm mostly referencing for the sake of the lighting. This is a lot of lighting to manage, a lot of lighting to monitor. And I've saved this little file setup so you can save files and save workspaces in Portrait Studio. So let me just resize. By the look of his face, I don't see a good guy. I see kind of like a very God complex character, very tyrannical kind of expression. First thing that I do in scenarios like this is I darken the main character. Usually the background should be lighter. And I'm just going to pick a simple purple value, put it on darken them, duplicate the layer, put it on color. And you can mess around with this setup as much as you want to. All we're doing is leveling out all the colors so they sit under a common theme. So the color wash brings down all those saturated sunlit daytime colors. Before I merge it down, I'm going to erase away it wherever we have gold. This time I'm going to delete on the side that is facing that background light, keeping the hand very much eclipsed. Okay. All of this stuff is inconsequential since this gold will have its own little glow. But I'm finding all of that rim light on the side of his body, on that back wing. Next thing I'm going to do is get my dodge tool, and I want to just build that rim light up as much as possible. Again, on a new layer, just going crazy with it. Now it's about the front of the face. So I'm going to duplicate the layer, get dodge tool, but on midtones. I'm only using dodge tool because I don't have that much time, but you guys can obviously use actual paint and the brush. And I'm just trying to climb this chest out of that flatness to try to give it a little bit of that three-dimensional feeling. And I'm just checking my reference here every time for these changes. And I'm going to try to get rid of your lines because you have quite a lot of them in a lot of places, and it's kind of like illuminated. I can bring it in as a rim light on the character himself. And I'm just going to merge this down and just try to get some of that gold in the hair to come through, just like that, just to show that little billow that's happening. Get the sponge tool and just saturate a little bit along the rim of one of these. And then because the more natural light is bleeding in from this side, I'm going to now allow that sunlight to come in. And it's kind of like he tore like a hole in space and time. And so this has its glow, but this has more of a universal glow. In the middle of the day, he kind of did this crazy effect. For now, let's just get a galaxy texture pattern of some kind and lay it into the background. Of course, you could do something different. Maybe this one's okay. Save image as, desktop, save, and just see if I could introduce some other effect for that background value. Dodge tool on highlights and try to bring in some of that on this wing as well. And then I'm going to finish any more little rays of pure sunlight that might be happening. Then I'm going to try to bring in some kind of atmospheric elements. So maybe some, it really just depends on what the story says, but I feel like some wispy, windy kind of stuff that he's kind of sticking his hands out. So I feel like something might be coming this way out of the white, and some kind of wispy element moving in that general direction. Filter, blur, motion blur, then just simple particle effects. I'm just trying to give this that league splash effect, which is there's a lot going on, but it's organized. And then I'm just going to darken, and then just darkening that lower half of the canvas will go a long way to making it look like a league splash. Just controlling the range of all of those effects. So making sure that the scene feels nice and closed off. The line of sight is very obvious, and we're not battling. Nothing is battling for attention. Everything feels pretty level. As for the crops, so this is a whole lot of nothing going on. So either like move the scene over so that we can get more of this far side, maybe even more cool effects, like you can show some planets, some moons, shit like that. Or just crop the scene so that we're not just seeing this big gaping hole into nothing. Blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to Gaussian blur it a little bit overboard. You guys know what I'm about to do. And then I'm only going to delete where I have a focal point. Okay, so let's take a look at the before and after. Lots of changes. I know nothing really is the same as it was before. Okay, so like, again, what's happening? What time of day is it? I don't know. What is the light environment? I don't know. What's the common color between all of it? I don't know. They wouldn't be able to answer you. And then after, it's a very clear time of day. It's a very clear story being told. In my opinion, the colors all seem matched. We have an actual light source. It's a very epic kind of, it feels like an epic clash of some kind of big bad guy. And do you miss that far section? Like, do you miss this? Like, do you miss it? I don't miss it. So that's why I would say, like, it's not necessary to make your canvas that wide if you're not going to give us anything in that wide canvas. Again, so what's going on? I decided to keep some part of the light working towards the bright. Obviously, my Portrait Studio helped me a lot with that, a whole lot with that, because it pretty much told me where I needed to put the brightness and where I didn't need to. Obviously, there was a second, stronger light source coming in from the end, and from the other end. And I know that in the end, I really wanted to have a lot of gold. That's why I deleted after that darken and color wash layer that I did. I know that when you have a glowing object, the background needs to be dark, but in general, your object needs to be darker than your background. So now we just have both happening at the same time. And yes, it's possible to have this happen at the same time. Because I had no idea whether he was an evil or a light character, I guess I just naturally was drawn towards both. A lighter side that shows that he's angelic, maybe he came from the angelic realm, but also he's doing powerful magic just because, only because of this expression. This expression governed all my changes today, because expression is narrative. Expression is the story. So the expression looking so menacing and tyrannical inspired me to make all of these changes. So your expression isn't something you mess around with. When you pick an expression, you have to understand which one you picked. This actor is playing this role very well. He looks very, very evil. This smile and those eyebrows, it's classic. There's no denying the smile and the eyebrows. There's no version of this that looks friendly. Okay, there's no version of this that looks friendly. This makes me look cute, but it's evil. So, like whenever we have anything like this, we just call it evil. This is the universal evil expression. It's literally the one that we use in the emojis, and it's got horns. So when you are doing this exact expression, don't blame anybody for thinking it's a menacing, tyrannical guy. What I picked to do, that whole epic arrangement of lighting and his expression, and the fact that, there needs to be some kind of dark element. It can't just be a big glowy, it has to be something that feels like this expression is happening for a reason. That expression is happening for a reason. That's what I'm getting off of it. So he feels a lot more menacing this way when we have that darker element present in the scene. So these are all the reasons why I picked these color choices, why I wanted to make it feel more like this League Splash. Thank you all for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you guys learned something today and you want to give back, all you got to do is go to istebrak.com and click on Patreon. You can just join for $1. $1 goes a long way. I know you may say somebody else is doing it, somebody else will take care of it, but really it's about everybody joining. But if you guys want to, that would be really, really cool if you joined for $1. It's an untraceable amount in the long term, but it goes a long way if everybody joins, and the community just feels a lot more strong, a lot more fortified that way. If you want to submit your work for critique, so this piece that I picked today was from the Discord or Reddit community, I forget, but it was from either of them. So if you want to submit your work for critique, you just have to click on the subreddit icon right here. I think it was from the subreddit, or the community tab right here to join us on our Discord server. There is a critique channel on the Discord server, and the subreddit community is just one whole critique channel. And Portrait Studio is on sale. You guys saw me use it today. You guys witnessed its power. You saw basically how useful it is in helping you manage multiple light sources, which is one of the hardest things to do as an illustrator. And if you want that league effect, that strong effect, you really do, and that epic effect, you have to use multiple light sources at one point or another. It can't just be one individual light source. It can't just be no light source. It can't just be washed out overcast light source with diffused shadows. You have to be more confident with your rim light, with your direct light. And you do that by using a reference, and Portrait Studio is amazing. It renders it right there in front of you and you're done. I will let you guys go. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys on Tuesday the 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Bye guys.